Welcome to the Soul Archaeology podcast, a space for connection, resonance, witnessing, and learning. Together we'll harvest medicine from the spiral of life, sharing conversations with other embodied humans who have navigated their own initiations and found alignment with their true soul essence. With weekly astrology, energy updates, embodied conversation, and channeled teachings, this is a space for you to land and find resonance with the spiral of your own soul. Hello, welcome back to Soul Archaeology. And I don't know about you, but I feel spring in the air so heavily now. It feels like here in Topanga, everything is bright green. We had ample amounts of rain this year, and a really early heat wave. So everything is pretty lush and it feels like rebirth is everywhere. Fertility, life, creation. We're in the season of Aries, which is the season of life and creation. And in last week's episode, I talked about the energy of April, about the heat, the fire, the match that ignites all of this creative energy in the field. I talked about how April is the month of ignition. We have, of course, the great conjunction that happened on February 20th. And April is really the month that builds the heat, that lights the fire, that ignites a new layer of this burn. The pressure is really building. By next week, we'll have 6 planets in Aries. On the new moon in Aries on the 17th, we'll have 7 celestial bodies in Aries. I'll talk about that next week because that specific transit, that new moon in Aries, is going to be incredibly significant. We have our second vessel session on the 17th, and it's the new moon in Aries. So that new moon is one of the most active new moons of this year, and this week is building towards that. We're in heavy cardinal energy. Cardinal energy is fire, initiation. It's the beginning. It's the start. It's movement, change. Cardinal energy begins a new season. So it's the initiator. It's the start of something new. And we have a lot of Aries energy. We also have Jupiter in Cancer. And this week on April 5th, the sun in Aries forms a square to Jupiter in Cancer. And then on April 9th, we have Mars entering Aries, which I do believe is going to be the mark of our feeling this energy, this heat, this action, this change on a more visceral, personal level. Because of course we have the personal planets, Mars and Mercury, entering Aries over the next week. Mars enters first, Mercury enters next week. We have, of course, Mercury is behind. It's been in its retrograde phase. But once these two pass into Aries, it's go time. Everything's going to change rapidly, fast. I think a lot of the work we did last week with the full moon in Libra was to prepare for the fast pace of April. If you listen to my 2026 forecast workshop, you know why April is the month that ignites everything. July as well, actually, is incredibly significant as well. So we have these two waves, but April in particular, all the planets are direct. So, and then we have Uranus entering Uranus entering Gemini, of course, later in the month, which I talked about in the last episode. So things are going to be hot, fast, and we need to be prepared. And this week in particular shifts the tone. There is this momentum that's really building. We're out of the Mercury retrograde shadow. We're out of eclipse season. This is charged, emotional, expansive. We're moving from this relational calibration of last week, the full moon in Aries, the Venus and Pluto square, the energy of Venus conjunct Chiron that's been brewing over the last few weeks. And we're moving into action. And our work now is to look at what is driving the action. Are you moving from the wound or the heart? Are you moving from a wounded part or your higher self. And don't worry, we'll get plenty of opportunities to see this clearly. I think the Neptune and the Saturn Kazimis we've had recently really revealed quite a lot around this, around intention and conscious action. And I'm not going to lie, there's going to be a lot of pressure this week to move, to change, to create, to start something. Really all through April, you're likely going to feel this pressure begin to build, this internal pressure, maybe even external pressure to do something, to act, to change, to speak, to respond, to react. And the work now is to titrate that need to move with our self-awareness, resourcing, safety, control, groundedness, clarity. We begin the week, April 5th, with Easter, of course. We have this energy of resurrection, this knowing that we always get to rebirth ourselves, and every single moment we get to choose to start anew. We get to choose differently. That same day, we have the Sun in Aries square Jupiter in Cancer. Aries wants to move. Like I said, it's a cardinal sign. It wants to move. It wants to act. It wants to initiate. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So it often responds or reacts quickly. It isn't necessarily integrated all the other journeys, all the other signs it needs to go through. So it can lack self-awareness. It can lack accountability. It can lack conscientiousness. Cancer wants to protect, it wants to hold, to care, to preserve emotional safety. The Sun is the ego, the identity, the self. In Aries, this is amplified. It becomes all about the self. It becomes all about me, all about what I want to do, what I need to do. Jupiter amplifies Cancer's natural tendency to protect, to caretake, to hold. So with the Sun, the ego, the self, the identity squaring Jupiter, this is amplified pressure to do something, to act on something, to change something. It can look like overextension or overgiving or overcommitting or acting from emotion rather than clarity and groundedness. This transit can feel like a pressure cooker. It might not even be clear what's coming up, but you might even feel the pressure just internally in your body. A square creates friction. It creates tension. The Sun in Aries is all about self-direction. Jupiter in Cancer is all about emotional responsibility. So we might be pulled between these two. What you want versus what others need. What feels real and true for you versus what feels safe. Like I said, you might feel a sense of urgency. There might be this, even just pressure in the system, this charge that wants to move. I really encourage you with this type of energy to move your body. Really all of April, it's so important to move your body, especially when Mars moves into Aries. Movement is everything because so much of what we experience is really just energy. And the energy can move if we allow it to, if we move with it, if we open to ask questions, to let it just flow through us. We so often want to take these energies and make sense of them or categorize them or put them into a bucket or put a label on it as bad or good or this emotion or this pattern. And so often it just wants to move with you. It just wants to move through you. It just wants to be seen and not judged or analyzed. Sometimes, of course, there's something that's persistent or something that you just know has been there for a while that needs conscious, cerebral processing, mental clarity, acknowledgement. And then sometimes it's just energy that wants to move through you. It's charge, it's pressure, it's heat that's building into this sympathetic charge. Our nervous systems might interpret this charge as something that is pushing us to act, to fix, to decide, but it's not always true. Sometimes it's just energy moving. I would encourage you all through April to move first and then ask questions. If that charge is still there after moving, after pushing, after yawning, after, making noises, whatever it is, if it's still there, maybe it needs something. Maybe it needs more acknowledgement, or it needs to be spoken, or it needs witnessing. But especially when Mars is in Aries, I say move first, and I don't mean move as far as act, I mean move with your body. The other thing with a Sun squared Jupiter transit, especially in cardinal energy, is to watch for excess of anything, spending, pushing yourself too hard, reactivity, impulsivity. I would say it's not the best week to rush into something, to make a big decision, to spend a lot of money on something, unless it's something you've really been sitting with for a long time. Jupiter square the Sun, it's pressurized, and it's going to want to make you do something big. Jupiter can make something feel right just because it feels big, but it's not always aligned. So just watch for that. Watch where you want to take a big leap of faith or you want to jump into something. Just sit with it a little bit longer and just notice, is this really in alignment, or is this a sort of an urge or pressure to do something, anything? And then on the 9th, we have Mars entering Aries, and this is a significant shift. Mars is at home in Aries, which means it's most free. And there is intensity here. I have my natal Mars in Aries retrograde, so I know what this feels like. Mine is internalized, but it's definitely a lot of energy. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of heat. Mars in Aries is direct, instinctual, fast, honest. It does not wait. And the beauty of this is that we've been in a lot of retrograde energy. We've been a lot of Piscean energy. Mars entering Aries at this point is going to light a match, ignite movement and change. It's going to open up some channels for things to actually move. And this can be clean action. It's not overthinking or overprocessing or overrelating, but moving from a place of, this is what is true, conviction. This is what I'm choosing, which is beautiful because we need some of this cardinal heat. We need some of this fire and this action, this initiation. Mars is the planet of movement. It's the planet of will and drive. It's how we move through the world. In the sign of Aries, it's very mobilized. So it's going to dislodge some areas where we might feel stuck, but it can also lean towards impulsivity or reactivity, burnout, conflict. It likes to fight. Mars is the warrior planet. Aries is the warrior sign. When Mars in Aries is in its shadow, it is an unconscious warrior. We are moving towards conscious warriors, which is aligned action, groundedness, self-awareness, self-control, self-responsibility. So we want to notice anytime a planet is in any sign, we're looking at the shadow and the light, and we want to be more in the light more often. So when we think about the shadow of Mars in Aries, it's impulsive, it's reactive, it's self-absorbed. It can lean towards anger or underthinking. And it's light, it's mobilized consciously. It's moving from a clear channel. It has self-confidence, assertiveness, clarity, direction, conviction. Especially as the Sun squares Jupiter this week, when Mars moves into Aries, we're really going to have to be careful not to do too much too fast, to say yes before checking capacity, to act from emotion. We want to just pay attention before moving this week. If there's an urge, where is this urge coming from? It's always a question. It's like, where is this coming from? Where am I choosing from? Where am I acting from? Is it coming from the wound or fear or addiction? Or is it coming from truth? Is it coming from clarity? Is it coming from groundedness, the heart? Emotions can be high this week. We have Jupiter in Cancer being ignited by the Sun, so it might be a big week emotionally. So we're going to be asked to hold emotional clarity, awareness without letting it drive every decision, to move without abandoning your body. Like I said, move first with the body, with the emotion, with the charge, and then act. And it's a good time to just notice, where are you feeling urgency? Is it real or is it fabricated? Is it coming from a wound? Is it coming from fear? Is it coming from pressure? Is it coming from anger? Next week, like I said, we have the new moon in Aries. So this is our week to kind of get used to Mars in Aries, to start to temper, if you will, some of this heat. to get used to some of this pressure. It's not a week to rush forward and to do something quickly or to react or respond from emotion. This month in particular is the month where we come into our creator self fully. We come into our conscious warrior self. And that is so much about mastering the mind and the body, mastering emotion and charge and heat and energy and pressure so that it doesn't hijack our choices. We're meant to feel things. We're meant to feel angry. We're meant to feel afraid. This is all natural and normal. The work is to be with it, to process it, and then to choose from the heart, not that fear, not that anger. This is really the beginning of a new cycle of action. That's what we're moving with Neptune and Saturn and Aries. We are birthing a new world through new choice, through new action. It's important to feel angry. It's important to feel the emotions. It's really even more important to allow yourself to feel it before you start choosing, acting, and responding from those emotions. This is a really big week, and next week is going to be even bigger. That's kind of the thing with Aries, this Aries season and April itself, is that the pressure builds, especially as we move into Uranus and Gemini later this month. So you don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to figure everything out at once. You don't have to make that big decision immediately this week. It's okay. If it's really meant to be, it will still be there on the other side of the pressure. But being pressurized, being pressured to do something, or experiencing pressure to do something, or being pressured by someone else is a red flag right now. It's not a red flag that it's, oh, you shouldn't do that, but it's a red flag that says stop. Let's just notice. Let's just sit with this pressure. Where is it coming from? Can I move with it first? And is it still there on the other side? Is it still a yes? I am so excited about the vessel. I think it's the most amazing group of 25 women. I'm so excited for this journey. Thank you for everyone who signed up. It's going to be an amazing ride. And I actually have an in-person event. If you are local, if you're in LA, I have an in-person event at Ritual, which is an incredible nature refuge in the mountains, the Santa Monica Mountains outside of Topanga. And my dear friend Eve bought the property many years ago and has created the most beautiful nature refuge with native plants and hosts amazing workshops. And so I'm hosting a North and South Node workshop there on April 18th with a few other amazing hosts. And I'm going to link the details in the show notes. I would love to see you in person. If you're local to LA, if you're wanting to do a little day excursion, this is a perfect time to do it. It really is honestly one of the most beautiful places I've been in California. And it's going to be a lovely afternoon, evening. So would love to see you there if you are local, or if not, and you're wanting to do a last minute little weekend trip. I will also be opening up a few new offerings later on this year as well. So stay tuned for that. But for now, podcast, Substack, the best ways to engage. I do also have 2 private mentorship spots opening up in April. So if you're interested in working with me, this will actually be the last time I'm offering this for a while. I'm moving deeper into group work throughout the end of this year. So if you've been wanting to work with me one-on-one, now is the time. You can book a clarity call. That's also linked in the show notes. And the card I pulled today is the Ladybug card. And I know we pulled it not that long ago. So when it flew out, I saw it and I was like, oh, naturally, I'm just going to put it back in and reshuffle. We just had that one and it flew out again. So it flew out, and then also the Divine Masculine card flew out too. And they both came out both times. So they're very serious about being heard. There was also a ladybug on my dog Benny today too, which was so adorable. It was just crawling on his little Muppet head. So ladybug medicine is so present. And I feel this medicine, of course. This is such a feminine time. It's the time of fertility and life and birth. And this is the card of a miracle. And it says, when European farmers prayed to Mother Mary for a miracle to protect their vulnerable crops, Ladybug arrived to devour the pests. The farmers, surprised that the divine intervention could come in such an unsuspecting form, called her Beetle of Our Lady. And we know her now as Ladybug. Ladybug signifies a miracle, but remember, when you expect help to appear in a specific form, her gift can sometimes be overlooked, so keep an open mind. Divine assistance is improvisational, playful, and surprising. It is lucid discovery like tiny ladybugs, saving a whole season of crops. The same goes for the miracles that await you. Prepare for the possibility that they will be just as unexpected as they are mighty. When it's balanced, this is receptive to unexpected forms of support. When it's imbalanced, it's holding rigid expectations that block magical interventions. And to bring into balance, practice playfulness as a magnet for divine intervention. And I just love that card so much because it does remind you to surrender control, and open palms are open to miracles. And we can't always grip and expect things to be exactly as we want them to be. Oftentimes, it's even bigger and better than we could have ever imagined if we're so focused and have our head to the ground and our palms closed. We miss those miracles. And the second card is the Divine Masculine card, and it's all about presence. Resonant with electricity and extraordinary skill, Divine Masculine enlists his perfect mind to gallantly deliver creative instructions. He harmonizes his influence with Divine Feminine's untouched omnipresence, giving rise to the exquisite individuality that characterizes all life. This sacred polarity between the masculine and feminine is responsible for the totality of existence and lives within each of us, regardless of how we identify ourselves within our own body. Divine Masculine indicates that your full presence is required by simply aligning your unfractured consciousness with the moment. You supply healing, balancing truths, and conjure new possibilities and outcomes. It is much easier to receive a message from your inner Divine Masculine wisdom when you anchor your full presence within each moment. Practice this and you will soon discover a secret. You are a painter of galaxies and legend of the real. When it's balanced, you have a harmonious attunement with self, others, and surroundings. When it's in balance, there's cognitive dissonance, lack of connection to the greater world. To bring into balance, remove distractions and become fully present in the moment. Do only one thing at a time. And I love this because it is truly connected to what we were talking about, which is presence, paying attention, acting from conscious awareness, aligned choice. And when we do that, we're open to the miracles. So thank you for being here. If you would like to support the podcast, the production of this podcast, I don't do any sponsors, so you can join my Substack. It's $8 a month. There's a lot of deep dives I do there. I share more personal bits and pieces, and it's where I'm going to be moving more towards in the coming future, moving away from Instagram and really moving into Substack. So I would love to have you there. And thank you for being here. Thank you each week for showing up. Thank you for sharing with friends and family on social media. It really helps the podcast grow. And